By now, most of you have seen the movie Lucy, in which Scarlett Johansson unlocks the full potential of her brain. Though the premise of the movie is interesting, and who doesn't love watching ScarJo, that's not quite how things work. The human brain is extremely complex. Scientists have been studying it for centuries, but they're nowhere near unlocking its full potential. But what if we could use 100% of our brain? Would we be able to transcend into a higher being? Before we explain the intricacies behind that grey mass in your head, make sure to drop a like below and subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. You're not using the full potential of your brain. Did you know that you do have what it takes? Your brain is built the same way as Einstein's brain was. But how come if your brain has the same structure as Einstein's, you're not as smart as him? It's quite simple really. You're not using the full potential of your brain. But is there anything you can do about that? Well, first you need to stop thinking about what others can do and focus on what you need to do to get your neurons buzzing. Secondly, stop believing in myths. Most people believe that in order to be smarter, their brain needs to be bigger, which is obviously not the case. Otherwise, the world would be ruled by sperm whales and we would not be at the top of the food chain. Brain size is more relatable to proportion than intelligence. For example, the brain of a sperm whale can weigh up to 20 pounds, whereas the weight of the brain of an average adult human male is about 47¼ ounces. The human brain is smaller because our bodies are smaller, but it's not the size of the brain that makes humans smarter than sperm whales. It's the brain's structure that enables us to stay at the top of the food chain. Additionally, you're not using just 10% of your brain as our lovely ScarJo portrayed in the aforementioned movie. That percentage can go up to 35%. So if you're already using over 10%, what would it be like if you used 100? Wouldn't you like to be the next big inventor? Someone who invents a tool that makes everyone's lives easier? That would be great, wouldn't it? You would be one of the smart people who help organize our societies and the world as a whole. But what would you do if you had access to 100% capacity of your brain? Would you try to solve the Rubik's Cube or end poverty in the world? Would you act local or global? Whichever you do first, you'll be looking at a real challenge in no time, because that's what smart people do. You wouldn't be interested in the small things like the average Joe. You'd be interested in solving the hardest equations or finding the next big fuel alternative. And what about your body? What would happen to your body now that all your energy is being sucked up by the limitless potential of your brain? Well, that's the thing. Your brain is limited by your body. It's the latter that needs the energy, not the former. So even if you could use 100% of your brain, you would be limited by your own body and its survival needs. This is one of the reasons why people started to believe in the 10% myth. How on earth would someone use their entire brain if their body couldn't handle it? In addition to that, the human brain consists out of 10% neurons and 90% glial cells, so you get what led to the confusion. There are different types of neurons and each of those types takes care of different functions, but their general purpose is to process and transmit information. And the glial cells surround those neurons and provide them with support and insulation. So, if your brain has the same amount of neurons as Einstein's, how come you're not already famous for coming up with the next big revolutionary theory about time travel? Well, you need to stimulate your brain by constantly learning new things, maintaining healthy habits, and trying out what suits you best until you know that's your calling. In simpler terms, your brain is a muscle that needs to work out, and if you give it enough exercise, you'll be at the top of your field in no time.